Today on Vallo Vision News, a world in mourning after Pope Francis passes away at 88. We'll take a look at how his leadership changed the Catholic Church and the world.
And hundreds of students attended UM's third annual ASL Expo.
Plus, see how Montevallo celebrated this year's Earth Day with its annual Earth Fest. Vallo Vision News starts right now. Hello and welcome to Vallo Vision News. I'm Cypris Wilkinson.
And I'm Isaiah Wilson. Thanks so much for watching. The world is in mourning after the death of Pope Francis, just one day after Easter.
Vatican officials announced Monday that the 88-year-old pontiff died of a stroke and heart failure. The Pope continued to hold engagements, including on Easter Sunday. He rode through the crowd at the Vatican in the Pope Mobile. Pope Francis gave the traditional Easter blessing from the balcony of St. Peter's, although an aide read it on his behalf. The Pope also met briefly with U.S. Vice President J.D. Vance. Before being elected as Pope in 2013, he served as Archbishop of the Buenos Aires and made a cardinal by Pope John Paul II. Reporter Karen Kaifa has a look at how he impacted the world.
From the beginning, Pope Francis had the common touch.
Buonasera.
A simple good evening from the newly elected Cardinal Jorge Mario Bergoglio from Argentina, the first pope ever from the Americas. Equally at home with the poor and the powerful. On the lawn of the White House, he made a plea for immigrants.
As the son of an immigrant family, I'm happy to be a guest in this country, which was largely built by such families.
The Pope focused much of his attention to those on the peripheries, as he called it, the outsiders excluded from society.
Chi ha fame,
The
sete.
hungry, the thirsty, the stranger, the naked, the sick, those in prison.
He was not so popular at times inside the Vatican. Backlash from conservatives upset about his liberal approach to church teaching, promised reforms of financial transparency never fully materializing, and the scandal of sex abuse continuing to be the Catholic Church's biggest struggle.
He met with victims. He expressed heartfelt sorrow. He expressed resolve to get this right. But, you know, most critics, many victims, would say that that wasn't matched with a policy follow-through.
When the coronavirus pandemic hit in 2020, this image of the Pope blessing the world from an empty St. Peter's Square became a symbol for that desolate time. Francis urged nations to share their vaccines with poorer countries and vaccinated hundreds of homeless and underprivileged at the Vatican. From the beginning of the war in Ukraine in 2022, Francis was an outspoken advocate for peace. Francis avoided outright condemnation of Vladimir Putin, but publicly appealed to the Russian president, begging him to stop for the love of his people, the Pope said. He made similar appeals for peace during the conflict in the Middle East, saying that the Israel-Hamas war had descended into terrorism. He insisted that war is always a defeat and said self-defense that is not proportional is immoral. Francis's most important message was one of fraternity, that we are all brothers and sisters despite our differences. I'm Karen Kaifa reporting.
As the Catholic Church enters a period of mourning, the Vatican is preparing for what comes next. The process of selecting a new pope begins when conclave is convened, between 15 and 20 days after Francis's passing. Conclave can last up to 13 days. The new pontiff will be installed less than a week after he is elected. Turning to campus news, with finals quickly approaching, students may wonder how they can de-stress. For some, prayer can help. The Montevallo Baptist Campus Ministries hosted a prayer tent last Thursday on Main Quad. The event took place during Holy Week, which is the week leading up to Easter. Students were given opportunities to share prayer requests, read Bible verses, and pray together.
Students are stressed, they have things going on in their personal lives, and this week represents such an important week in the Christian life. The pinnacle of our faith happens as Jesus gives his life to serve others. This is a very, very small thing that we can do.
You can learn more about other BCM events on their Instagram account at Montevallo_BCM.
Montevallo's Deaf and Hard of Hearing program hosted its third annual American Sign Language Expo last Tuesday.
Nearly 300 high school students attended this year. Attendance for the ASL Expo has tripled since its first year. The goal of the Expo is to bring together members of the deaf and hard of hearing community for a time of interaction and networking. Dr. Frances Corson has worked with the deaf community for more than 40 years and believes these events are incredibly valuable.
It is so important for deaf people. They love opportunities to be face-to-face because sign language is truly a three-dimensional language. So that is so important that they have those opportunities to be together.
Montevallo is currently the only university in Alabama offering a degree in education for the deaf and hard of hearing.
This weekend, Phi Gamma Delta, also known as Fiji, hosted a philanthropy event to support a very important cause. Vallo Vision News reporter Anthony Lopez has our story.
A creative theme, a committed cause, and a night full of community. Fiji's annual iPhone Video Music Awards brought all of that together with one purpose in mind: raising money for Shelby County Safe House, an organization with an important cause.
Shelby County Safe House is a really good cause where they help domestic violence victims or sexual assault victims, and it's something that, like me, as my values personally align with a lot of trying to help that organization.
This year's IVMA's theme was Women Pop Stars, a theme that had been in the works for a while, and finally made its debut in true pop star fashion.
I thought the theme was excellent. I love the theme. It's been in the heads of the Fijis for the past couple of years, and I'm glad that it finally, got together and we were able to do it.
From idea to impact, the iPhone Video Music Awards proved that even simple tools like a phone and a song can help amplify voices and support change.
That was Anthony Lopez reporting. For more information on Shelby County Safe House, visit safehouse.org.
Spring is in the air in Montevallo, and UM's University Program Council is helping students get outside. UPC hosted its annual Spring Fest on the Farmer Patio this past Tuesday. The event featured games and music, allowing students to relax, enjoy the sunshine, and have fun with friends. UPC member Sarah Hartley says she likes putting on these events that bring students together.
We put on a lot of free events for students on campus, like stuff like this. Stuff for Friend is our most favorite, and different concerts, I think.
To keep up with the events that UPC hosts throughout the year, you can find them on Instagram at Montevallo_UPC.
UM's housing office celebrated wrapping up the spring semester with their annual luau on Main Quad last week. For a few hours, Main Quad transformed into a tropical-themed block party, complete with a photo booth, snacks, inflatable slides, and catering provided by the CAF. Main Hall residence advisor Andrea Krosky coordinated this year's luau and said she hopes the event gave students some much-needed relaxation.
I think it's a great way, especially with finals 2 weeks away. I think it's a great way for everyone to come out and kind of decompress with everything that's going on.
Krosky said she was happy with this year's turnout. The housing office has been hosting its annual luau for nearly a decade.
Tuesday, April 22nd is Earth Day, but UM celebrated Earth Week all last week. E-Club hosted events throughout the week. One of its major events was Earth Fest, which was Thursday on Main Quad. There was live music, crafts, and other tables. Vallo Vision reporter Jake Swan has more.
Yeah, Earth Week, we've been every day we have some sort of event, just things to get people involved and just care about what's going on with the Earth. Yesterday we did terrariums, and so people came and they made their own little terrarium.
It's big enough. Is it gonna keep growing?
It is a gray rat snake. So this is Bandit. She lives at the Alabama 4-H Center. She's about 7 feet long.
So we have some art tables up We have natural collages, and we have painting tote bags. And then we also have a bunch of different like organizations come, like teaching about the environment and different things. So
it really is especially important in this day and age to remember. I mean, I'm old enough to remember when Earth Day got started. And so, maintaining this tradition, the Earth Fest and Earth Day, y'all are doing it right. And we need that message now more than ever.
We've got more about green spaces in and around campus and UM's Green Fund in a story on the Vallo Vision News YouTube channel. Remember, there's always more news 24/7 on our social media pages. Just search for Vallo Vision News on Instagram, Facebook, and X.
Still ahead on VVN, stay plugged into and see how Montevallo Esports is adding a new team to their lineup.
Plus, get your sword and shield ready because MOG is hosting its second ever Renaissance Fair. Find out what type of activities you can take part in. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Vallo Vision News. There are lots of events happening on campus this week as we prepare to wrap up the semester.
Put on your best medieval outfit and get ready because the Montevallo Organization of Gaming Renaissance Fair is this Wednesday. From 3 to 7, everyone is welcome to come to Main Quad for free food, games, and crafts. They are also hosting a costume competition with entries starting at 3. If you would like to volunteer for this event, email the address on your screen. UPC is hosting its annual midnight breakfast to help students prepare for final exams. The event will be Sunday, April 27th from 10 p.m. to 12 a.m. in the CAF. It is free for all students. In addition to lots of food, there will also be several free activities to give your brain a break from studying. In addition to free food, there are free fitness classes that you can take part in next week. The faculty and staff senates are teaming up to host Finals Fitness Week. It includes classes on kickboxing, yoga, Zumba, and breathwork. All classes will be held in Old Gym Dance Studio. The full schedule of classes is in this week's Vallo Voice email.
The university's Department of Athletics will hold the annual Freddie Awards tonight, Monday, April 21st. The Freddie Awards are held in Palmer Hall Auditorium. The award ceremony is held to honor and celebrate athletes in all sports. The reception will start at 6 p.m. Athletes and coaches can walk the purple carpet before the ceremony starts at 7. Hundreds of young mountain bikers raced through Montevallo earlier this month. Up next, find out how the Alabama Cycling Association is encouraging the next generation of cyclists.
Plus, some friendly competition for UM's track and field team. How the Falcons are hoping their recent inter-squad meet will prepare them for the Gulf South Championship. Vallo Vision News will be right back.
Welcome back to Vallo Vision News. Hundreds of middle and high school cyclists recently pedaled their way through Montevallo for the Alabama Cycling Association's 4th race of the season. The mountain bike race was held on April 12th and 13th. The goal of the ACA is to get more kids on bikes and to provide them with opportunities for coaching and camaraderie. ACA Executive Director Walt Britton enjoyed the supportive environment at the race.
The families and you see everything that we've got going on here. The environment here with coaches cheering on other teams and then even racers racing against each other, cheering each other on. It's an amazing group of kids and coaches that we have in the Alabama Cycling Association.
The ACA State Championship races will be held this weekend at Tannehill State Park in McCalla. UM's track and field team is gearing up for next month's Gulf South Outdoor Championships.
But before they face off against some other of their conference rivals, the team faced off against themselves for some friendly competition in an inter-squad meet last Thursday. VVN video journalist Wesley Holsenbach takes us to the track.
But it evens out. Years ago we did one, but this is truly our first one that we did, and we did it because we typically compete this weekend, but this year we decided to give the team off with it being Easter weekend. That way if they're close and they want to go see family, they can go home. Bring some team togetherness, some team spirit, plus let the athletes see what we have to go through when putting people in certain events and picking teams and all that stuff, making sure that we maximize what we have, and so far so good. It's exactly what we wanted.
I think it was a good thing for like building confidence going into conference, for sure. Yeah, and then just to experience the team, the competitiveness, that's where everybody needs to push everybody to lock in for we need to be where we need to be come conference time. So, yeah.
The Falcons are back in action next week for the Gulf South Conference Outdoor Championship. They'll compete in Cleveland, Tennessee, May 1st through the 3rd, and we wish them the best of luck.
Montevallo's esports team is always finding new ways to grow. Our reporter Jake Stout was at their newest event.
The University of Montevallo esports team had a huge recruiting event last weekend at Thompson High School. This event had multiple games like Valorant, Rocket League, and Montevallo's newest game, Marvel Rivals, which will be added next fall. Brendan Beal, interim head coach, was there leading recruitment and talks about the relationship Montevallo has grown with Thompson High School.
Thompson High School hosting this event is awesome. They've always been good friends of ours, and they're very close to our school, so we get a lot of their players too. The fact that they put on Marvel Rivals here, even though it's relatively new, is great, and so they obviously recognize that Rivals is coming.
With this new team in development, Montevallo is looking to get some fresh talent here, and Thompson High School has been very helpful with sending them recruits. Montevallo Esports is working on going to more events like this to get more recruits, and leader Dalton Bradley feels this is a step in the right direction.
Hopefully we'll get it on the upswing. I think Montevallo Esports is probably one of the lesser things that's currently getting recruits in. I know you have other teams that'll bring in like 20, 30 people in a semester. Montevallo Esports, it's hard for us to do something like that, so I think hopefully this is a step in the right direction.
Through all the hardships the esports team has went through this semester, they are dedicated to improving and growing Montevallo Esports. This is just one step of many that the esports team is doing to lead them to success.
This was Jake Stout reporting.
If you ever want to watch a Montevallo esports match, check out their live stream on Twitch at Montevallo Esports.
Remember, there's always more news from our team of reporters on our website, vallovisionnews.com. That's all the time we have for today's show. This is our final show of the semester, and we're joined now by all of the folks who have made ValloVision News possible each week.
And thank you to all of our viewers for watching this semester. ValloVision News will be back in production in the fall. Good luck on your finals, and have a great summer break.